Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Health Babes podcast. We are your hosts, Dr. Becky Campbell and Dr. Krystal Hohn. Today, we're going to focus on detox and specifically on the liver. So we hear that word detox a lot. It's a very big buzzword, but what does detox mean? And is it there just one organ that's helping you detox, or are there different ways, different pathways in the body that you can detox? Krystal, you're kind of the queen of this. So why don't you tell me?
Yes. So when we hear the word detox, like Beck said, it's such a big buzzword. And it isn't just the liver that is responsible for detox. We have so many different organs and different areas in the body that are responsible and helpful in this process. But the liver is a big one and it has so many roles. That's kind of why we wanted to focus on the liver today. But
Yeah.
these detox pathways, they work so hard for us, even when we're not thinking about it, right? Like the way that we sweat, our bowel movements, our lymphatic system, our kidneys, the liver, our lungs, all these systems, they work hard, but they get so overburdened. So we're going to try to give you guys some tools, to help you work on these systems naturally and simply. So why don't we first, before we get into some of the symptoms and things back, let's talk about some of the functions, that the liver has. So let's get into those, and then we'll get into some of the symptoms.
Yeah. So the liver does a lot and does a lot more than I ever knew it did, even when I was learning about all this stuff. So it helps to filter blood from your digestive system, and it helps to get rid of toxins and damaged cells that way. It helps to metabolize fats, carbohydrates, and proteins, supports bile production, which comes from the gallbladder too. They kind of work together. And this allows the breakdown of the absorption of fats and vitamins. What are some other things?
Yeah, it's also very important for making sure the nutrient levels in our body are balanced. The liver is also really responsible for blood sugar metabolism, aiding in cholesterol production, allowing hormonal imbalance. So we know the liver, well, many of us who are into functional medicine know that the liver is responsible for a lot of that phase 1 and phase 2 metabolism with toxins and hormones and things like that. But we also need to get rid of toxins and hormones through our bowel movement. So the liver's kind of like that pre phase, right? And there's so many phases, but the liver's really, really helpful for, allowing hormonal imbalance. So assisting in normal blood clotting too, supporting the immune system and fighting disease-causing agents, cholesterol production. And these are just a couple, you guys. There's so many different, the liver, how many reactions back? Like over 500.
Yeah.
Like the liver has so many different components and helpful things for the body. So,
and when you guys hear Krystal say getting rid of hormones, it's that excess, right? That build up. So let's say, with everything we have, let's use estrogen as an example. We have to metabolize it, so break it down and get rid of basically the extra. So that's what that means. We don't want an abundance of estrogen. That's kind of where you're going to see something like estrogen dominance coming into play. So that the liver is really helpful. And, people have no idea how close the correlation with hormone balance and liver function is. So when we work with people and, the first thing we do with anyone, this is when we were in practice and now with our courses, we get those detox pathways working. Yes, because no matter what you have going on, whether it's hormone imbalance, gut issues, which by the way, you probably have both.
Right.
All the different things, thyroid issues, that all the liver is where you start. It's extremely important. Another function of the liver is converting. We have an inactive form of thyroid hormone called T4, and it converts that into the active form, which is called T3. So it is important for everything. And I really believe that you cannot go into a health journey without, number one, of course, diet, which we're going to get into, but number one is supporting your detox pathways and really, really giving that liver a lot of love. So we're going to kind of walk you through that. By the way, I just want to point out, did anyone notice the 3 times Krystal said balance? Because that is my favorite word. And I was so happy that she got to be the one to say balance.
My Michigan accent comes out,
Yeah.
and I don't even realize I have it, but
Yes,
supposedly I do.
I say balance. Krystal says balance.
Balance.
So, balance. Anyway.
I love it. So why don't we, we're talking about some of the functions, right, of the liver. Let's get into some of, the signs that and symptoms that patients or people listening may be experiencing, thinking, maybe I should start supporting my liver, because the list is broad, guys. And this is how important it is.
Like, oh, I'm tired. It's like, okay, so some signs that are common, common knowledge would be yellowish eyes or skin. You've heard of that. What do you think? Maybe, well, I don't even know that people would really correlate skin. So like, itchy skin, rashes, acne, any type of dermatitis, acne. We've had patients that they struggled with acne their whole life. Well, most of their life, even as adults. And we work on the liver and their acne goes away immediately.
Well, that was a big thing with me. Like when I was dealing with a lot of hormonal issues, acne was one of my big things that was a big struggle for me. And when I started working and supporting digestion and the liver gallbladder, a lot of those symptoms went away, and it was amazing. It was probably the biggest turning point in my skin issues was working and supporting the liver.
And for me, I have extreme chemical sensitivities to where I couldn't even go into a store. Like I could not go to Target and walk around. I had about a 5-minute time span, and I was like holding my breath for the most part, because think about how many chemicals there are in that store between all of the things, the clothes, the candles, the detergent, everything is in that store. So that was a really big killer for me, as far as it would ruin me for the whole day.
Or like Home Depot, right? Like all the fertilizers and
yes. Yeah. And so when I started supporting my liver, I noticed I could go into stores again, which was huge. And even being around people with perfume. I mean, I used to wear perfume when I was, a teenager and in my 20s. Yeah. And I was fine. And then all of a sudden I wasn't. And I couldn't tolerate it at all. And now it's not necessarily that I can't tolerate it. It's just that I don't want to take that in, because I know that it can have harmful effects. So those are some things that you may go, oh, wow, I have that, that's important. I need to support my liver. But then there's other symptoms like digestive symptoms. And that would be bloating, gas, constipation, even just like abdominal pain, acid reflux, everything has to be moving, and the liver is a part of that. So it's really so broad. What are some of the other symptoms that you see with people?
Looking for more freebies and resources? Head over to healthbabes.com to get your free liver support guide. We all know and are learning that supporting your liver is so important for so many things when it comes to health. It's a master regulator, metabolizer, detoxifier. Supporting the body's natural detox pathways is important for overall health and well-being. And that's one thing that me and Beck have found out working with so many patients throughout the years. Once you really start working on your detox pathways, you start to see a lot of things unfold and other things start to get better, right? And so over at healthbabes.com, you can also find a full list of our favorite trusted food, beauty, and health products. Use HealthBabes50 code at checkout for any of our popular at-home health courses. Again, you can find our free liver guide and health courses at healthbabes.com. I'll see a lot of waking up in the middle of the night. So insomnia or waking up around that 2-3 mark is typically liver is very much correlated, especially when there's a blood sugar component too. Mood swings, anxiety, depression. And when going back to what Beck said too, like yellowing of the skin and the eyes, typically when that starts to happen, there's a more serious issue, wouldn't
Yeah.
you say, back with us looking
Yes.
at lab
Dark
work and things?
urine. That's
Yes,
when it's like, okay, we need more than just liver support. Let's do
exactly.
some
Let's maybe
testing.
run some blood work. Let's
Yeah.
maybe do an ultrasound. Those
Yeah.
types, we're potentially referring out because,
Yeah.
usually it's a bigger issue potentially
Yes.
when you see that.
Yes. And you can have things like fatty liver. I mean,
Right.
there's a lot
Yeah.
of different things that can come with it. So you want to get ahead of the game, because
Right.
we're exposed to so much every
Mhm.
single day. The air we breathe is not clean,
No.
unfortunately, in most
Mm-mm.
places.
Mm-mm.
And our every single thing has to run through our liver. So if
Right.
you can start supporting it and get ahead of it early, then you should never really end up in that situation where you're having the yellowing of the skin and the dark urine and those types of things.
Yeah. And we'll even see a lot too when I see, sluggish detox pathways. Joint pain is a big one
Mhm.
too. Joint pain, like we said, a lot of the skin issues, even seeing redness on the palms,
Yeah.
the palms of your hands. It's another big one.
Sweating, like,
Yes.
I mean, if you're a sweater, not because you're
Stink.
outside, but if you're sweating a lot, you're
Hmm.
sleeping and you're sweating, or you're just sweating more
Absolutely.
than the average person, that is a very big sign. Those toxins are trying to get out.
We need to do some work. The
And if
liver's
your
going, help
armpits
me.
stink, that is also a very big sign. So,
Exactly. And me and Beck recently did an episode where we were talking about, phosphatidylcholine helping us
yeah.
with stinking and everything. And it's true though. Like if
Yeah.
you find that you've been a little bit sluggish on working on these areas and you're like, wow, I feel I smell a little bit more, or
Mhm.
it's a sign that you need to pump it up a little bit and work on these
Yeah.
areas. And this is what we're going to get into. So let's talk about some of the action steps to support the liver. Do you want me to start or do you want to
Yeah.
go?
Well,
Okay.
you want to go through diet first
Yeah.
because diet's really important. So let's say you're taking supplements and doing the things we're going to get into, but you're eating really toxic chemical filled food. That's kind of not going to help,
Right.
it really starts with what you're putting in your body. Cause again, everything has to go run through the liver. So here's it's easier kind of to say the things that you should just watch out for to make sure you're not including in your diet. So
Right.
that would be like refined sugar,
Mhm.
refined oils, like seed oils. We don't eat gluten. And I know
Mm-mm.
some people hate when we say that, but there's really no nutritional benefit at all to gluten.
Mhm.
And they are just finding more and more issues with it. So if you can avoid it, I would. Definitely soy, corn, especially high fructose corn syrup,
Yes.
which isn't a lot of stuff. Any type of, if you're reading a label, most of the time, if you're reading a label,
Ingredients.
it's the
Yes.
problem. It's the problem. You want to eat whole foods that don't have a label if you can.
Yes.
But all those artificial ingredients, dyes, and all the fillers and stuff, those things they're really hard on your body.
Think about it, your body has to metabolize that, you guys. So if you are reading a label and you don't understand a word, typically you shouldn't be eating it, right? And
Right.
we should be shopping on the outside of, the grocery stores where the fruits and the veggies are, right? And the meats and things like that. We shouldn't be getting in all this packaged food that are so shelf stable. They're shelf stable and they can stay on the shelf for years, right?
Yeah.
Because of all the chemicals and the ingredients in them. So if you think about that, when you're putting that into your body doesn't know what to do with that, right? And it just gets overburdened. And this is even more of a reason of why you need to support the liver. So when Beck talks about chemicals, that's what she's talking about. You really
Yeah.
want to eat clean ingredients and, shop in shop in co-ops. And there's ways you can save money too.
Yeah.
Like talk about maybe even the clean 15, the dirty dozen, right, Beck?
Yeah.
Like,
And we have a handout too, where we
mhm.
can, you guys can download the handout and it will have all this information. And we go into the clean 15. We've also posted that on our Instagram recently. So what that is it's the environmental working group came up with a list of 15 things that do not need to be organic. In other words, like a banana, let's say,
save money, right?
If there's a big peel on it, you're not really going to be so worried about that. And then there's the dirty dozen, the things that really should be organic because pesticides are getting into them very deep and you're eating it. And then that's a huge, huge burden on the body. And just a note on meat, you have to do the best you can with meat, but I want to explain why people say eat, grass-fed, grass-finished, organic, all that. So when meat is not organic, they want the cows to get big fast. And when that happens, so they'll give them hormones to make that happen. And then when that happens, a lot of the time there's a risk of infection when an animal gets too big too fast. So then they give it antibiotics. So if you're eating meat that isn't free from that, you're getting those hormones and the antibiotics that were given while you're eating. So that's why it's a big deal what the cow's doing, and then also grass fed. You can have a grass-fed cow, but then they also give it corn and grains. So then you're getting that too. So that's why it's grass-fed and grass-finished. You want it only eating grass. So those are just kind of like a little thing to look out for. And you just have to do your best. And we know it can get expensive.
Oh, yeah.
But so is a doctor's bill, I mean.
It's like, pick your poison, know?
Eat healthy and you can avoid a lot of, diabetes medication can be expensive, and not just expensive, but hard on you, for many reasons, especially when you're having to use insulin as a type 2 diabetic, not, when you're born with a deficiency, but when you actually can help it with diet, things like that. These are just things to consider when you're making things into a priority in your life. It's, this is like, what more do we have than our body, number one, to
our
get us through
everything.
life? Right.
Everything. Health is everything. And you want to feel good while you're here on this earth, right?
Yes.
Who wants to be miserable and sick, right? And going back to with what you said too, Beck, with organic and talking about hormones and antibiotics. Most of you, if you do a little bit of research in your area, you can find farmers, right, that aren't necessarily certified organic, because it can be expensive for local farmers to do that, to get that process. But a lot of them don't use hormones and antibiotics, and a lot of their animals are grass finished and grass fed and things like that, or pasture raised. So get to know your farmers where you can also save money, right? It doesn't always have to be certified organic, although we love that, right? But it can be helpful if you get to know, your local farmers markets and things like that.
Yeah. And we even have, because I live not in like a big city, where this one farmer will travel to multiple places and drop off, the meat and the raw dairy or whatever it is. And then a lot of places do the veggies now. You can just like go pick up a box of organic, veggies.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's really, really good.
So let's talk about liver support.
Okay.
So we've given you what you shouldn't do. So let's talk about what you should do. Again, eat organic as much as possible. Greens, they can be really helpful to support the liver. Sprouts, especially broccoli sprouts, can be really helpful. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not sitting home sprouting broccoli. I mean, I'm just not. So
most of us aren't.
Yeah. So there's a lot of this you can do in supplement form. So an example would be for broccoli sprouts, you can do sulforaphane. We are very big fans of sulforaphane, and it's not just helpful for the liver. I mean, it's helpful for hormone balance and antioxidants. I mean, so many things. So those are some things you might want to check up on. Again, this is more of like an overview, but we're going to give you guys stuff that goes into it a little bit deeper. So you kind of have a plan and you can know exactly what to do. And then, really trying to get organ meats, which I, again, am not a fan of organ meats. I think that they're gross. but
we're not just frying up and eating raw. It's
no.
hard for me too. So we
Yeah.
supplement a lot with them.
Yeah. Well, you can supplement with it, or what is I never remember their name, but I buy them all the time. It's a company. They have meat, Force of Nature. They have like, you can buy a pound of grass-fed beef and they'll put like 7% organ meats mixed in with it as a blend. And I use those all the time for me and for my kids, because it's like taking the most powerful, multivitamin.
It is.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's really, really helpful. And then getting in lots of color for those polyphenols and antioxidants, the minerals and vitamins, right? All of these, when you're getting in nutrient density, you guys, you're really helping that phase 1, phase 2 liver metabolism, because all these toxins that we're exposed to and the way that we're metabolizing hormones, we need to make that more water soluble so we can push them out of the body. And a lot of these components in our foods are these cofactors to that. They help that process along, right? So getting in lots of color, getting in nutrient dense, complete protein sources, like Becky said, with meats and organ meats is really important. So diet is very important. And then getting into our environment a little bit more too, right, Beck? Like our chemicals, like there's a lot where we are in control of, you guys, from the products that we use that have like our makeup, our lotions, our cooking utensils, right? So makeup and lotions, meaning parabens and fragrance. We touched a little bit on that, but
phthalates and all that, which are chemicals. I mean, I'm sure at this point, most of you listening have heard of this, but if you haven't, in your cosmetics and your laundry detergent and your household cleaners and just about everything, there are these certain chemicals that make up part of the product. And so if it is not clean, and let's say you're using a moisturizer and you're putting it on your face, well, your skin is your biggest organ. So it actually is going to absorb that. And that is not just going to stay on the outside on your face. It's going to get into the body. Then where does it have to go? Through the liver.
Right.
So this is why you're seeing so many companies now that are saying like free of parabens, free of, BPAs, all these different things. And it really actually does matter. It's not just a marketing thing, which, by the way, some people are just marketing with that, because you have to still look at things like fragrance. Like if I could give you my most favorite tip, it's get a product when it says no parabens, no phthalates, no whatever, check the ingredients for fragrance, because fragrance is one of the highest. If you look at your products on set websites like the Environmental Working Group, and they have apps, you can scan your products, you'll have a product that's great until you get to the fragrance, and it will make it a 10 out of 10 on the toxicity scale because of the fragrance. So if it smells good, it's probably, unfortunately, not that great for you. So those are really important things that you can do, and not, I'm going to run in and throw out everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just start, download an app like Think Dirty is the app I use. The Environmental Working Group is another one. And you can scan your items. And I was talking with my hairdresser the other day, and I'm always like, you need to get some fragrance-free, shampoo in here. Like, I'm
just to let you know.
Yeah. And so I was teaching her a little, trying to be not annoying. I'm like, just because, gently telling her whatever. And she's like, she goes, I went home and scanned things and I had to stop. She's like, it was terrible. So, you don't want to freak anyone out, but start scanning your items and start just, replacing where you can. And there's really good companies, like Seventh Generation is a really good company. I think I use all of their cleaning supplies, all of them. They even have chlorine-free bleach.
Yeah.
Like, they have a lot of great stuff.
Branch Basics is pretty good too. I like their stuff.
What is it?
Branch Basics. That's like a concentrate where you can do your toilets, your dusting, like all the things. They have everything. It's really good and clean.
Yes. Yeah. There's so many companies out there now, and they're really, really good. And there's easy access. Like 7th Generation is in the store.
Oh, yeah.
I
It's
get it
probably
at
the most, you can
Common.
get access to it. I find in most stores. Yeah. And then also too, this is just getting me thinking your cooking utensils, you don't want to be cooking with Teflon. So replacing it with either stainless steel, cast iron, but be careful with only cooking with cast iron. We see a lot of, iron overload. You need to be careful with that. And then with plastics too, you got to be careful with food storage. So, we all in the past and future, as we're learning, we get those Glad Tupperware, throw them out, guys. They're cheap. Just replace them with glass. There's better things
and
for
microwaving those. Oh. I mean, I used to do that.
Yes.
And I used to then see people do that. You didn't know. I mean, there's so many more options now. Cause like I have all glass, but I didn't before, I didn't know. And BPAs are highly linked to cancer.
Yes.
And I read a study from 2012 the other day linking it. So that's 11 years ago. So, we've learned a lot more since then. So this is real. This is actually really a thing. So definitely get rid of the plastic, and people they're heating up in plastic. They're putting it in the dishwasher and using it. I mean, lots of stuff that it's exposing those chemicals. And then every time you're using that, you're eating it, for the most part. So,
I know. And it just starts to overburden, right, the body. And these are things that we're in control of. So think of the things that we're not in control of, like the air that we breathe outside. I mean, yes, we can take care of our air in our home, but there's so many things, right? And it's accumulation on the body, and the body just starts to say, okay, I'm done. I'm overtaxed. I need some support. So these are just some simple, gentle things you guys can start doing to really make an impact.
Glass. So incorporating more glass. I use silicone for my spoon, I'm cooking with spatula, that type of thing.
You don't scratch.
Bamboo. Yeah. You can use wood, bamboo, all those. There's so much. What else?
That's the big hitters gently, as far as like diet and your environment, taking your shoes off. This is another thing too. Guys, if you're wearing your shoes in your house, think about not only the chemicals from fertilizers and all the things that get on your shoes, but public restrooms, people. Let's
pee
just
on the floor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Poop, pee, all of that. Like it's gross. It's one thing you can be in control of in your home. Just keep your shoes off. And I know we can all get a little bit crazy and say, okay, don't stress about the little things. But these are some gentle things you can do to really take off that toxin load on your body and your family, right? Yeah. So it's important.
Yeah, I have like inside shoes because I have floors, and it hurts. I don't like to be barefoot all the time because it hurts my knees. But
just get some inside shoes.
I have the ugliest, most comfortable
Clarks
flops. They're Clarks. They're just ugly as can be. But they're amazing, and I wear those inside. So I take off my shoes outside and I put those on.
They're the best. They're the best. As long as you're comfortable, that's all that matters, right?
And then if you want to go a step further, you can use like air filters. We love Air Doctor. I have one in almost every room of my house. Great. I love those things. And it's cool. Like if you're blow drying your hair, you're cooking, it'll go off. Yeah. Cause it's sensing stuff. So it really does work. And, that's, if you want to take it a step further, that's something you can do too. And then, alcohol, it's really hard on the body. It really is. And it's not just the liver, it's your blood sugar and your cortisol, and really, alcohol is a stimulant. And it also dehydrates you. So, if you want to have alcohol sometimes, totally fine. But if you are someone who thinks that you have any issue, with your liver, with your detox pathways, that's something I would recommend trying to do without and see, how you feel and if it makes a difference. And, and I won't say who, but there's someone really close to my life that owns a bar, and she would have like 2 glasses of wine every night.
Yeah.
And she started to look old, her skin was really drying out and she just looked like worn. And it was only 2 glasses of wine, and it wasn't even every single night. And she started eventually getting hangovers, and she didn't used to get hangovers. And that's because eventually her liver started to be excuse me.
Or what we used to be able to do in the 20s, we're not able to do in our 40s and 50s. It's like,
and she stopped drinking, and I can tell you, she looks 10 years younger. I mean, it's crazy. It's just the change in her skin and her energy, and just, she feels amazing all the time. So just a side note. Listen, guys, we get it. Not everyone has the time, money, or the capability to commit to finding and working with a functional medicine doctor. And guess what? That's okay. You can improve your health, and you can alleviate your symptoms in a different way, a much more convenient way. So head over to healthbabes.com/courses and check out our functional medicine at home programs. In those programs, you'll get everything you need to start thriving, feeling, and looking your best today. If you use the code HealthBabes50, you'll save $50 off the course. And this promotion is exclusively for our podcast peeps.
These are some things you can just start doing right away, but there's also some great therapeutic things you can also do to really support the liver. Things like castor oil packs, right? Like, we love them. And most of patients that we've worked with, and it's such a gentle thing that most people can use them. There are some contraindications, like with pregnancy and things like that you want to be careful of. And we go in detail with all of this in our core course, where we talk about, gentle detox therapeutics. But castor oil packs are phenomenal. They're very gentle. They stimulate the lymphatic system. They help with bowel movements. I mean, so many things, the testimonials that we have seen from this. And we have a great link for you guys too that we'll put in the show notes. But we start with those with almost everybody.
Everyone. And we love these ones. And these are not our brand or anything like that. We just love this brand because the old way to do castor oil packs, when I first started doing them, was like, get this flannel and put the castor oil and put it there. And then you put a towel, and then you put a heating pack, and then you pad, and then you can't leave that area for 45 minutes. These ones, you just pour on the castor oil and you tie it on, and you can go about life. But we really have our patients do them at night. If they can, like, just wear them overnight, and you really do feel so much better. And I remember talking to you once, and you're like tired for a couple of days, and you're like, I haven't worn my castor oil pack in a couple of days. And then as soon as you started wearing it, and you felt like back
to amazing.
Yourself.
Yes. And it really helps. I have found it really helps with deep sleep. So patients who struggle with insomnia. So this just goes to show you, like, once you really start supporting these areas gently, and Queen of the Thrones is who we really like just because of her pack. But she's got amazing information too, you guys, if you want to learn more of the benefits, like on her page, but we'll link it for you.
And she was in an episode.
We had her on.
We had her on. So you can go back and listen to that, because she gets into a lot of the,
science behind
details.
It. And because we could do a whole episode on those, right?
Yeah, so we did.
Exactly. And then things like dry brushing, simple dry brushing to really stimulate the lymphatic system. It's really supportive for the liver. Epsom salt baths. Like, these are other things that will also link our freebie liver PDF for you guys in the show notes, where we list a lot of these things for you that you can do on top of cleaning up the diet and cleaning up your environment and all of those things. Any other detox pathway stuff you like, Beck, or that you want to talk about?
There's a lot that I like, but I
Yeah.
think the best thing is to either download the
Yeah.
PDF or, we have a couple of different courses teaching you how to do functional medicine at home. And we've literally taken exactly what we do with our patients. And like I said, the first step is we teach you exactly what to eat and exactly how to support all of the detox pathways. And we go into a lot of information about that. So that is our core program. So if you're looking at it, it's healthbabes.com/courses. You're going to see that we have a core program. That's the one you would want to do to learn all this in a lot of depth, and plus other stuff too. It's basically getting your body ready to be as healthy as possible. And then if you want to take it a step further, we actually have advanced courses where we show you how to order your own testing, and we tell you exactly what your test results mean and exactly what protocols to follow based on that. So that's at healthbabes.com/courses. So I would definitely check those out. And I think we're going to do a discount, right? Because so last week was our 100th episode. And we had a guest, so we didn't want to, promote a coupon. But so we're going to do $97 off of any one of our programs. So what's the code? Is it HealthBabes 97? Okay. So what you're going to do is when you go to the healthbabes.com/courses, whatever course you pick, and you can pick our core course, or you can pick our course bundle, which is our core course plus how to, do the Dutch test and exactly what to do based on those results, and the GI map test. So you're looking at your full gut health, full hormone health. And so we've bundled it all together, and it's like a huge savings already. So if you add in HealthBabes 97, you'll get $97 off whichever course you decide to do. So, and if you don't want to start there, just download our PDF, and we'll link that too. And that gives you a lot of really good information as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. And you can find we'll link it, but you can find it if you go to healthbabes.com, and in the menu tab, it says freebie, and you can find the liver.
So all of those links will be in the show notes too.
Well, this was fun. We've been wanting to do more episodes with just me and Beck, and we have lots of plans to do this for you guys because we have so many health topics with working with so many patients throughout the years. And we just got to get all this knowledge out, and it is fun. And it's crazy that we hit 100 episodes though. Woo-hoo!
I know, it's exciting. Yeah.
It's a great milestone, a lot of work, but worth it. Right.
Yeah. Because overall we love to educate.
Yeah.
We just do. And that's our goal with this podcast, is just to give you guys information that I wish I would have known before I got sick, and even when I was sick, no one was teaching me this stuff. So we hope, that with each episode, you can just even grab a little nugget of information.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Well, thank you guys for listening. For those who've been listening since the beginning, you're awesome. And for our new listeners, we love you too. So any topic recommendations, we can email us. Krystal, give the email because I never know what it is.
contact@healthbabes.com.
Yeah. So if you email us there, we will see, questions you have that we can answer. We love doing Q&As or just a whole topic.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, thanks
everyone for listening. Have a great day.
We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, if you can pop over and leave a review, that would be awesome. You can also find us over at healthbabes.com, where you can find our courses, our latest book. We also are on Instagram at The Health Babes, at Dr. Becky Campbell, or at Dr. Krystal Hohn. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.